Hi everyone, I'm back to read the second part of chapter 20 of Who Let the Gods Out by Maz Evans, and they've just got back to the barn which has been made over. Elliot and Virgo have been suspended from school, and according to Hermes, Hypnos is on his way. So let's see what happens next. As soon as Hermes was refreshed by a takeaway nectar cappuccino from Cafe Hero, the 6 immortals and Elliot crowded around Hermes' eye god. So, Hypnos said he's going to steal the crown from the Queen's home this week. But why and when? Said Hermes, tapping away on his device. Blah, blah, blah. Ah, here we go. The imperial state crown is worn by Her Majesty the Queen at the state opening of Parliament. This ceremonial occasion usually takes place in the summer months, but this year will be on the 18th of November due to the early general election. Boom! That's this Thursday, said Athene. What is this general election? Asked Virgo. It's how we decide who runs the country, explained Elliot. Every 5 years there's a big vote. Every 5 years? Snorted Virgo. What a ridiculous system. What if you don't like the people you choose? What if they prove terrible at the job? Then you're stuck with them, said Elliot, unless you have another election, or a revolution or something. That's just silly, scoffed Virgo. On the Zodiac Council, we change leaders every month, so everyone gets a turn. If you don't like what the last person did, just change it. How do you get anything done? Asked Elliot. Quickly, said Virgo. On the morning of the state opening, the crown is escorted to Buckingham Palace to allow the Queen to become accustomed to its weight, read Hermes. So if Hypnos is planning to steal the crown from Buckingham Palace, we need to get to it first, said Athene, which means we need to intercept it at the Tower of London, laughed Elliot. You're going to steal crown jewels. Epic. Stealing it is going to be harder than my abs, said Hermes. Security at the Tower of London is well tight. I should hope so too, huffed Athene. Besides, we can't steal it. Breaking a mortal law is against the sacred code. Fat lot of use the code's going to be when Thanatos is pelting the mortals with mountains, genius, said Aphrodite sarcastically. Sorry, Ellie, no offence, she added with a dazzling smile. None taken, mumbled Elliot, immediately bursting into his Aphrodite blush. It's a good point, Zeus conceded, and Athene smiled smugly at her sister. Hypnos can steal the crown, we can't, but we must get our hands on the Earthstone first. Everyone waited for inspiration. Elliot's mind was whirring. He was good at finding ways around rules. There must be a loophole. He watched as Hephaestus skillfully fixed the broken fountain. What if we just swapped the crown? He said. That wouldn't break the sacred code. Hephaestus, would you be able to make a replica? I can make a better one, snorted Hephaestus, mildly miffed. You're welcome to use my jewellery collection, offered Aphrodite. Admirers are always giving me tokens of gratitude. For leaving them alone, murmured Athene. But Elliot's right. All we have to do is swap the original for our replica, and we've got the Earthstone. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We only have 2 days. How will we do it? Asked Elliot. We're not doing anything, said Athene. There's absolutely no way you are coming on such a perilous mission. Yes, I am, said Elliot, looking to Zeus and Aphrodite for support. But for once, all the gods were in agreement. It's too dangerous, Ellie, said Aphrodite. Coming over and giving him a squeeze, we just have to keep you safe. The girls are right, said Zeus. The best thing you can do is take care of yourself. Leave the silly stuff to us. Nothing and no one can get past Hephaestus's new fence. He'll be safer here. A mortal simply isn't equipped for something as risky as this, added Virgo condescendingly. Your place is here. So's yours, said Aphrodite. What? Cried Virgo. But for the mission to be optimal, surely I'm coming with you. No, you're not, old girl, said Zeus softly but firmly. You need to stay here with Elliot. You two are sitting this one out. Well, that's not... Fine. That's just fine, snapped Virgo as she strode out of the barn. Are you all right, dear boy? Zeus asked Elliot with one of his soul-piercing looks. Affy's little gizmo must have been quite an ordeal. I'm fine, said Elliot, and thanks for helping out to school. I just don't want them to... You don't have to explain anything, said Zeus knowingly. We're here to help. Thanks, said Elliot quietly, his fears about the farm on the tip of his tongue again. Zeus, he began. Yes, said Zeus gently. but the words were still unable to find their way to Elliot's lips. "Nothing," he said, and he wandered up the path to the farmhouse with the weight of the world on his shoulders. That night, when Elliot was tucking his mum into bed, his brain felt like a beehive. Mum, the farm, the earthstone, Patricia Porsley Plum, school, all his worries buzzed around his head, deafening his clarity with their drone. He felt a soft hand on his cheek. "Penny for your thoughts," smiled Mum. "I'm fine," Elliot said. "You sure?" she sang, pulling back the quilt and patting the space next to her invitingly. Elliot hesitated. Every now and again, Mum had these moments where she seemed just like her old self. The first time it happened, he had let himself hope that she was cured, that her illness had simply gone away, that he had his mum back. Elliot had experienced many new emotions over the past year, grief, fear, rage. But when Mum wandered off that very same night, he learnt that hope could be the cruelest of them all. "What are the rules of the bed?" she cajoled with a cheeky smirk. Elliot grinned in surrender as he clambered in next her. "No shoes, no lies, no farts," they recited together. Mum pulled the quilt over them both and Elliot snuggled into her arms. "If I don't know, I can't help," she whispered. "Do you ever get scared?" Elliot asked eventually. "Mums are always scared," she laughed. "Comes with the job." "How do you stop it?" "You don't. You embrace fear like an old friend." "Why?" "Because if you are afraid, you are alive," she said, squeezing him tight. "You make your fears. They don't make you." "What are you afraid of?" Elliot asked. "A single day without you," said Mum softly, kissing his hair. They lay in silence for a while, Elliot bathed in the calming peace of his mum's hug as his mind finally quietened. It had been so long since he'd been able to confide in her. Perhaps he was wrong to keep so much from her. Mum was still his mum. She'd know what to do. She always did. "Mum," he began quietly, "there's something I need to tell you." "Anything, my darling." "It's about that loan," said Elliot, his heart thumping. "Loan?" laughed Josie. "I wouldn't take out a loan. Remember what Grandad says? Neither a borrower nor a lender be." "You did," said Elliot gently, as he felt Josie's arms tense around him. "To pay for Grandad's funeral." "What do you mean?" she said anxiously, her voice trembling as she pulled away from Elliot and ran her hands through her hair. "Funeral? What are you talking about? Grandad's outside feeding the chickens. Why are you—" Elliot climbed silently out of bed. It was cold outside the covers. "Shh, don't worry, Mum. My mistake," he whispered, smoothing the quilt until it looked as though he'd been there. Time to sleep. She instantly calmed down and settled back into bed. He kissed her on the forehead and stroked her hair. "Are you all right, Ellie?" She smiled sleepily. "You look worried. Penny for your thoughts." "I'm fine, Mum," whispered Elliot. Turning away, he switched out the light and wiped his cheek. Night-night. It's the end of chapter 20. Look out for chapter 21 tomorrow.